And we welcome Anne Maxwell, who is manager of the Pro Fly section here at Windoor.
Hey, good afternoon, and welcome to the Win Games.
And what are you? I believe the Win Games was your baby, your idea. What are you trying to achieve? How do you make the Win Games different from the other competitions out there?
Originally, the whole idea for the Win Games was because I really like competition, and I really wanted to have a big competition in the tunnel that I work in. There's a lot of big competitions out there, and we don't have a facility that's as big as some others. So the way to set the competition apart from other competitions was to try and have a competition with the best flyers in the world.
And how has the competition progressed since the beginning? If this is the third edition.
The competition has progressed in that we are attracting more teams, which is always good. We are attracting teams now from Russia, the USA, and it's a much more international competition. And in addition, we're also adding new disciplines.
And tell me about adding new disciplines.
Well, originally, we were the original creators of two-way dynamic. Part of that was because we felt that there was a need and that people really wanted to do two-way dynamic. Four-way dynamic is an unbelievably beautiful event to watch, but it's really difficult to get into. When we felt that two-way dynamic was more accessible. In addition, this year we have added freestyle with a twist. So we've decided to kind of open the bag on freestyle, create a simple-ish competition so that people can come, do one high-speed round, one low-speed round, and one which we hope will be an amazing round to music.
Yes, we're all really looking forward to watching that. And presumably, are you taking input from competitors for how to improve the games year on year?
Yes, at every competition we have a competitors meeting. We really welcome feedback. In fact, we also welcome out-of-the-bag kind of suggestions for what we could do next year, because we'll definitely seriously consider it.
That's one thing I love about Windoor. You do always come, you like to innovate, you come up with something new.
It's far more exciting than just do the same thing year after year.
And I like the way you covered it up. Just really you want to have a party, invite your friends here, right? Because you like competitors, right?
Well, it's just kind of everybody here. I know them anyway, so it's really nice to have them come to my house.
And it's another thing I've noticed about the Win Games is there is always a kicking party at the end. And if the other channels are out there, you know, you need to step up to the mark. How are the staff liking it? How do they react to the pressure of having to run this competition with the world watching?
I think it's a twofold thing. We have some staff who are extremely experienced. This is the fourth major competition, and so for them, they look a little bit like swans, walking around, looking very calm on the surface, but working very hard underneath. A couple of our newer staff have probably got a little bit more panicky looks on their faces, but everybody's doing really well. I think one of the things about a major competition is you work so hard for the days coming up to the competition, and you're always putting out fires, and when the competition actually starts, it's a lot more relaxed than it should be, and you're just managing things really, and it's so much more fun.
And what are your goals of this year's competition?
The goals for this year's competition is obviously to try and have the best competitions we can have in the traditional disciplines, and then for the new discipline freestyle to really put on a really big spectacle, the same with the two-way dynamic, and really maintain the teams that we have and encourage new teams to come.
And what are we going to see next year, or is it too soon to ask?
Oh, we've got a couple of secrets for next year. We can't tell you everything just yet. We may have a teaser at the end of the competition, and so watch this space.
Okay, well, we're all waiting. Stand by for the teaser, and thank you very much, Anne.
Okay, so game with Jurijawa, the FS female team from Germany.
2.
So this round is again a more technical round, Regan. It has a slot switcher on the front piece in block 5, and then it's a triple blocker as well. So triple blockers always tend to be a little bit slower than most. Jurijawa doing a good job of flying it at the moment. As I said, this team are pretty much a scratch team. 2 professional military jumpers and 2 just fun jumpers with a lot of experience behind them. not necessarily in the four-way space, but they have a lot of skydiving experience behind them. Fujiwara. The scores have just flashed up for the four-way open for round one, and Wimby Lil have outscored Hayabusa.
Yeah, we've actually got the scores here on another screen. We can check it out when we need to. Ray, just notice it there behind us.
Okay, so in the tunnel now we have women in France who are currently leading in the FS female category. They're looking very strong. Again, as already mentioned, a more technical round of triple blocker, so it's going to feel slightly slower. And obviously with the front piece slot switching, it's going to feel a little bit more any for those teams that aren't that well trained.
So currently we've got Black Cat on 29, Hayabusa 32, and Wimby Lil on 33 after round one.
Right, so it's exciting, huh?
Yeah.
It's pretty much what we expected, that the Wimby Lil will give Hayabusa potentially a run for the money on a few rounds. I think Katie Woods' was the exact words, we'd like to beat them on one round.
Let's look at the female. We've got the Germans on third, NTFO in second, and Women in France in first.
Yes. It's a good round for women in France there.
Interesting, now we're starting to get some scores coming through, Ray, with these rounds. We can really get some good analysis of what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to judge, you know, from the teams, unless you're like speaking to them as they're coming out of the chamber, exactly how they feel. Not all teams give it away from their facial expressions or their body language, so
exactly.
You kind of have to pick up and rely on the scores and what you're seeing bust-wise. And NFTO getting ready now. The smoothest entrance into the tunnel, but I think they're getting used to each other. NFTO looking strong, a little bit hesitant in places. Not sure if they're still struggling with the wind or they're just like getting used to flying these new slots that they're flying. Just getting used to a new team member. As I said, a more technical dive this, so we should be seeing some small differences in the team's performances. NFTO, UK female team.
Your ex-team.
My ex-team, indeed. Nice slow-mo action shot there. Varner going over the top. Nice.
And welcome back to the Red Bull studio here at Window with the Wing Games. And Ray, tell me a little bit about those scores we've seen coming through already. In the open category after round one, we've got Black Cat second on 29. I think it was Hayabusa on 32, was it?
We've got Hayabusa on 32, Wimby Lil on 33. Yeah. And a tie at the moment with Black Cat and Mixed Parasport on 29, and then some of the other teams coming in at 28, and then a couple of teams tied on 26, so Thunder and Satori, because they had a couple of busts thrown into there in round one. It's round one. But as I was saying earlier, you know, we're going to see some, because we have world champions on Wimby Lil and current champions on, you know, ex-world champions, current champions on Wimby Lil. They're going to give Hayabusa a run for their money on a few rounds, and we saw in round one they already have. So it's intriguing. But
and in the female?
In the female, it's interesting. Women in France, not that much training, but, you know, they're currently on the leaderboard, but it's only a point in it. Yeah. You know, and it's round one. And we'll see if NFTA come back and if the German girls come back and, you know, give us I think it's going to be a fight there, so I'm quite excited about that. But I think with the more technical rounds, we're going to see it stretch out. The points are going to stretch out a little bit between the different teams in the FS, in the female category and in the open category as well.
If you want to catch up with all the scores, you can have a look on the In Time webpage, and you can also check out as well on the Facebook pages of Window and the Win Games. We've got all the information there that you need. That's where you are right now with the live feed as well. Check out how you can win 30 minutes in the tunnel, and all the other bits of gossip can be found on the skydive.mag page as well. The wind speed is going up, and we're going into the next round of VFS.
Excellent. So now we have Repack going in for Spain. Again, as I already mentioned, it's more of a technical round this, so it will suit the more trained teams. Repack have done 10 hours of their time together, but I think they're new to the entire, new to FS and flying this, and they're new to each other, I guess, in many ways. So experience will come in time. A little bit of hesitation there from Repack. We have got slot switch on the front piece, as I've mentioned already, so it's going to throw some of the non-trained teams and not so familiar with the four-way teams. A Repack Spanish team.
Yeah. I think on one or two of the teams we might have had a bit of a video problem. We might have to do some repeats. I'm just checking now with the VFS. We've got SD Core. I'm going to have to repeat round 3. There was a problem with their judging video. We're going to do that at the end of this round.
Brilliant.
Sometimes happens in these competitions. We had, I think it was in Prague, was it? The first round of competition. No, I think it was at the Dubai event. The first round had to be repeated for the teams because they had no video.
I heard about that. Interesting.
Yeah. Challenge.
Very much. So have Amna Joey going in now. Again, more of a scratch team, feeling out this young new jumper that they've got with 300 jumps in 60 hours of tunnel. See how he gets on with the fast pace of Joe Jones flying in the team. So far, so good, looking okay. Interesting move out to the 14. So they closed the 21. Most teams were back out into the 14, the centres, but these guys are taking it where they step forwards into the top of the 14. Interesting technique. Seems to be working for them though. Amna Joey. Next in we have Team Barak.
Nice slow motion shot again here, Ray. Look at those levels.
Makes me want to get in there and fly.
Yeah, me too.
It's a very interesting move to the 14.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
I want to see if anybody else follows suit with this. We'll see. Team Barak, the national Spanish team.
It's good to see Spain coming back a little bit in four-way, isn't it?
It is. And they're in a kind of training mode at the moment. You know, it's kind of early days, and you can tell from their flying, they're taking things nice and slow. They're not going for speed at the moment. They're just going for consistency and using this meet as experience, you know, competition experience, which is what a lot of teams are here doing because it's so early on in the season as well. And Barak are definitely one of those teams. There's some nice flying, very deliberate flying, and that's the stage they're at right now.
Seem to use a lot of tunnel there, these guys. Seem to be quite big.
Yeah. Some teams are quite tall, huh?
Yeah.
That's another nice action shot. You can really see the communication between the outsides there. Jazz Republic in now, South African team. Nice start. Quite a tall team. So Jazz Republic are looking for a certain average of this competition, so it'll be interesting to see if they get it. I mean, the draw does slow up a little bit towards the end. I hope that they do. This is what they're trained for. They're looking for a 21 average at this meet. Regan?
We're just starting to get some of the VFS scores coming through now. We've got one there on the screen. We'll be updating you with them as they get released and put on the computers.
Excellent. Looking forward to seeing those.
So just a reminder, we're going to be repeating round 3 for SDC Core. After this, they had a video malfunction, so...
Jazz Republic looking strong there. I do really like this slow-mo. It's very good. You get to see people's expressions and you get to see how they're actually flying and the different pitches and everything going on in turning a block, which is great.
Good mix in that team. Bit of voodoo is in there and a bit of a in-time scoring system are in there too.
That's true. Lupus F's flying now, the Estonian national team. Again, this team will only get stronger with more training that they do.
You've been training with them a little bit, have you?
I have. I've spent some times in years gone by, like doing tunnel camps alongside Lupus and Lupus S, and I've seen them when they first started out, and I watched them when they slot switched their centres, and they're just a very strong, progressive team, and they're animals as well. These guys can go for a long time in the tunnel and really stay strong as well. It's they're very strong flyers.
For anybody watching who's not familiar with skydiving or wind tunnel activity, to get to this standard, there's a lot of commitment, a lot of money, a lot of time that goes into it, isn't there, Ray?
There's a lot of time and commitment, a lot of it pushes your body in ways that you don't really think when you first start out. You start doing about 10 hours of tunnel, and then before you know it, you're doing 20 hours of tunnel in a training season, and it can push your back, push your shoulders, and physically it's a lot of work to counteract the wind flow for that period of time. These guys are particularly good at, they're well trained. They can come and do 3 hours in a weekend, Lupus F. I've watched them and I've been in awe. Very strong team. I mean, physically strong.
We've got some scores on the boards there, flicking around through. Me and Rich Russ did 10 minutes in the tunnel last weekend. I almost thought I was going to have a heart attack. 10 minutes.
How is Rich? Is he well?
Yeah, he's fine. I'm sure he's watching back home. Hi, Rich. How are you doing? Recently married?
Oh, yeah. Congratulations, Rich.
So look at the girls there. There's no bus at all, was there, on those?
No, it's all clean. It's all clean. But as I said, these teams are they're coming together. They're new. They're not trained teams per se in their slots. So they're going to be going a little bit slower than most. Here we see the scoreboard for round 1 again, and Wimpy Lila above Hayabusa in round 1.
And Wimpy, they've had a clean competition so far. Well, off what they've been scored anyway. That's 2 buses there for Hayabusa.
Hayabusa, yeah.
And 2 buses as well for Parasport and Symmetra, so it's a live fight. There's only 2 teams there who've got a clean round.
Exactly, You go with Team Symmetra. Great team. Another one of the French teams that are strong. Let's see if they can... Again, this is a more technical round, so we should be expecting with the caliber and experience of flying that they should do well. Oh, a little bit of a kerfuffle there for Symmetra. Hopefully they can get it back together and continue through. Get their rhythm back. So their experiences kind of shows there. They had a little bit of a meltdown in the middle of the round. Team Symmetra.
Yeah, nice slow motion there. Just for all the competitors who are here in the tunnel, just to remind you, there's a briefing for the 2-way dynamic in the briefing room at 1:45. 2:45. 1:45. 1:45 briefing for the 2-way dynamic.
Team Tenanin in the tunnel now with Maciel and Marco.
Was that the same moves to the 14?
I'm just having another look. Just want to see. I've not seen another team do it yet. Let's see if they're doing it as well. Yep, straight through into the 14. Yeah. So the close of the 21, rather than the centres backing out, turning into the 14, they're going straight past each other.
I want to try that.
We'll get some tunnel time.
I'll do it in the sky.
Okay, let's do it. So, it's an interesting move, and you've got to have faith in your centres to be able to step out, but not build it too straight.
Yeah.
And that is the...
You want to keep that cheat.
Yes, you want to keep the cheat. And if you're going from the end of a 21 and you want to build that angle in, it's pretty tough. So some good experience here for them to fly that.
I wonder if we'll see it here in slow motion. There's the finish of the 21.
Finish of the 21. Watch them. You need to kill that momentum, drive forward, but put the angle in, head switch. There's a lot going on there, huh?
Yeah.
If you get that wrong, you're miles apart. Luckily it's in a tunnel, so it's not too bad. I wouldn't do that in the air. Next in we have mixed power sport. These guys are flying well, huh? As I said, they're also doing the same, stepping forward into the 14. As I said, though, the tunnel walls will help with this because it will stop you. If you try this in the sky, you might keep going.
Yeah, you've got to rely on somebody to catch you quick.
You know, this is time, and they're pretty much a scratch team. They can play around with it. They're looking good.
A lot of dynamic movement going on, eh?
Yeah, lots of smiles though, eh? It's great to see the smiles. I guess it's kind of like a let's just relax and enjoy ourselves for mixed power sport.
What kind of cost do these people pay to enter a competition like this, Ray? What kind of how many hundreds of pounds or euros do you think you're going to have to lay out to do this weekend?
It depends on what your goals are, really. I mean, you know, just to get here.
No, I mean for the actual. For one of these events, because there's so many throughout the year now.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at, you know, probably 200, 300 euros or something just to compete and get here and get yourself up to speed. And then, depending on what you're doing or what you're aiming for, it depends on how much training you want to do for it. And luckily, like, this is good for European teams. But, you know, not so good to other teams have to pay a lot of money to come out here.
Let's see what Satori are doing. They're doing the same
move from the 21 straight into the 14, so stepping out rather than turning in and out. They're doing it pretty well. Bit of a smile on John's face there. It's good to see. You can see you can see how it could go wrong. Luckily, it hasn't gone too far wrong so far. There we go. Team Satori X now.
Pete always gets himself a couple of seconds back flying in at the end, doesn't he?
He does. He's got to get it somehow, eh?
A very accomplished skydiver in all sorts of disciplines, especially in canopy piloting and everything really. He can't put a foot wrong.
It's not irritating at all, is it? Hey, he's one of my heroes, so that's all good. And next in we have Thunder. It's not as it says on the screen, it should be Team Thunder.
Yeah, just the wrong graphic on the screen there. This is Team Thunder.
And they're also taking the same moves. Close to the 21, straight into the 14. Looking good. Each of the teams that have taken this decision to go from the 21 to step straight out into the 14, it's been working for them. Nice and controlled it, even as they're doing that move. It's as if they've actually trained it. Thunder, it looks really good. Team Thunder.
Casually walking up the tunnel there. Who have we got next, Ray?
I believe
Which team is it next?
Have Qatar Tigers.
Yeah, it should be Qatar Tigers.
Qatar Tigers, I hope.
So welcome back to the Red Bull studio here at Window. Ray, we're whizzing through this competition.
Oh, we can't believe we're on round 5 already. It's amazing.
So that was quite interesting. The end of the block 21 going into the 14, wasn't it? That was stepping through the centre.
Stepping through, and I was saying, like, you know, when we were talking about it, is that you can do this in the tunnel because you have that freedom to know that you've got tunnel walls in front of you, and it's a tricky move to do because you're stepping out from the 21 out into the 14. You want to cheat it a little bit. You want to get past your opposite. A lot going on, and a late head switch as well, depending upon which way you go. It looked very interesting. Most teams carried it off pretty well that chose to do it. It's as if they actually might have trained it at some point.
I really want to have a go at it, do you?
Sorry?
Yeah, I really want to try it.
Yeah, one day.
So after this, we've got a re-jump. You call it a re-jump? Re-flight for SDC Core as well for their round 3. We're going back to the live action right now.
This is Qatar Tigers. This is round 5 of Qatar Tigers. This team are looking good. They're quick and they have control. They're very well trained. Pleasure to watch.
Interestingly, their score from round 1 is not on the scoreboard yet.
Ooh. Let's have a look. So they're taking the standard move out from the end of block 21 into the 14.
Is this the only team that they're doing it that way?
No, the earlier teams were doing the same as well. I think some of the more experienced teams that were feeling a little bit more playful decided to take the other move. A little bit more confident in their flying skills. Maybe this guy's just wanted to take it standard. Good flying though for Qatar Tigers. To be honest, taking this standard approach from the 21 to the 14 of coming out probably sets you up in the right momentum potentially. So.
I wonder what the time difference is between the two moves.
I mean, it'd be good to get a clock on it. I might have a chat to one of the coaches later and see what they think as well.
Yeah.
We've got Black Cat coming in now.
In the VFS raid, we've got 3 scores on now. Vertical 16, Element 17. Oh, it's just flipped off the screen. SDC score on the top, of course.
Black Cat looking very, very strong. They're making this move from the 21 to the 14 look like it's a normal move.
Yeah.
Look at them.
There it is.
Go and it's off.
Wow, it's fast, isn't
really
it?
Fast.
Really fast.
I mean, this type of
there it comes
engineering
again.
suits them because they're used to this engineering.
Yeah, they move things around, as you said earlier, don't you?
Exactly. So it was really good for them, I think.
But there's no time lost on the beginning of that 14, is there?
That's brilliant. Great to see.
Let's watch the start of this 14 now. Boom, there it goes.
Black Cat looking very, very good, very fast.
That's a good round from him, isn't it?
So we got any more scores up, Regan?
Just checking now, we've got SDC Core on 24, Element 17, Vertical 16. That's the first round of VFS. And in the women's, still with just 1 score there from round 1, 24, 23, 22. And we're still waiting for Qatar Tigers to be scored in round 1. But apart from that, we've got Black Cat 3, Hayabusa 2, Wimby Lille 1.
Wimby Lille in the tunnel now. Currently on the leaderboard after round 1. Looking good. See what they do. Close to the 21. Ah, they're taking a different 14. Very interesting. They're taking a different 14.
They're doing a different one than what we've seen already?
Yes, they are. So they're taking the... We just have a quick look.
Here comes the end of the 21.
Yep, so we're taking the outsides are actually spinning the 14.
So that's 3 engineerings we've seen, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. Be interesting to get the clock out. It is tunnel flying, you know, it's very different to airtime for those that are watching the stream. This isn't necessarily what you would do in the air, but these guys can obviously cope with the memory. They're very experienced competitors, and they're happy to take this engineering. It's working for them so far. Wimby Lille.
And Katie's had a good few years, hasn't she? Many, many teams. She was there with Canada and with the Canadian team. With
Satori
Evolution. So there's Satori as well.
No, she's a very, very strong, very driven flyer.
Good person as well. There's a lot of good work in what she was in her personal life.
Hayabusa.
Right, let's see what these guys are doing. What do you think they'll do on the engineering?
I have no idea, Regan. This is the beauty of this, watching this live. It's just great.
Here we go. We're about to find out. Hayabusa.
Nice entrance into the tunnel. And they're taking that move straight out into the 14.
Interesting.
The 5s are so fast, huh? As if they're trained.
Yeah.
Look at that.
The end of that 14 doesn't look... the start of the 14 doesn't look as fast as Black Cat.
But then they're much more still as far as anyway. They carry a lot less energy through their block moves and through their turns in general. They just look more efficient.
Yes.
You know. The scoreboard will tell us whether they are or not. Nice turns.
Those turns are incredible, aren't they? Almost blurring out on the screen.
Exactly. Pleasure. Go Hayabusa.
Big round of applause coming there from the crowd. So we're going to have a reflight, re-jump, I don't know how you're going to call it really, for SDC core from round 3. You can hear that wind speed just increasing now as we prepare for that VFS. I wonder what happened with the video. Would it just have failed? Would it be a bad connection or something?
Could be connection issues, right? We have so many different feeds, but it's important for the VFS that they get the right feed to judge it, because obviously you have to be at a certain angle to be able to see how the grips are taken. So that's actually quite important that it's rejudged if it was a technicality on one camera.
Are they using that view from below? Is that what they're going to use for the?
I'm not entirely sure. I don't think they do. I don't think they're using the one from below because it can't actually show everything. They may be. I'll check in with the judges and come back to you. But I think whatever it is and whatever, they need to be scored properly. So it's good that they're rejumping it now.
It's really starting to get exciting now, the competition, isn't it? We're getting some scores coming through. The teams are relaxing. They're going to start teasing out from each other a little bit.
I can't wait to see much more scores. Hopefully the judges are going to be flying them through soon so we can actually see what's going on with this leaderboard. I hope it changes and moves around a bit and see if what comes in and comes out, because we had some fast rounds in the first 5 rounds. So I'm excited to see how it moves around.
You can check out all the information on the hashtags as well. Hashtag Let the Games Begin, Win Games 2016 and More Than a Tunnel. The Facebook pages of Windor and Win Games is where you find all the news. So this is that re-jump, re-flight. What would you call it?
They're back in the tunnel. That's all that matters. So FTC core are back in now, jumping there around 3. Again, it looks good. The fluidity that these guys have got is immense. It's just amazing to watch. They're fast and they're carrying energy, but it just looks so...
Yeah. Look how still they are. It's like they're standing there, isn't it?
Exactly. Their individual flying skills are amazing. I promised myself when I started doing this I wouldn't use the word amazing a lot. I've used it a lot.
It's a good
amazing,
word.
Fantastic.
You've always got to have your one word that you use all the time.
Kerfuffles, apparently.
Kerfuffles a good one. Tommy's was always absolutely.
It's a great reflight from SDC core.
There they go, they're out through the door. So we're going to have some replayed information, and then we're going to the Red Bull interview table with Leslie Gale and some of the 4-way teams.
And we welcome here representatives from Barak from Spain, from Satori XL from UK, and Hayabusa from Belgium. Halfway through the competition, guys, we thought we'd see what we think of the show so far. We're just getting heckled from various members of Satori there, who are showing all their anatomy. It's quite distracting. Let me move to Satori then. How's it been competing with Julia with her recently broken wrist?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, Jules has done really well to turn up here with a wrist just recovering. We've kind of been training lightly, if you like, so it's not putting too much strain on it. But in the competition, she's been going for it. And yeah, it's been fine.
So how much training did she do with her just broken wrist then?
Just within about 3.5 hours this week. So yeah, it's still quite a lot of flying, as you can imagine yourself. Yeah, we're pretty pleased.
So were there any blocks that she was dreading would come up, like any B slots that were going to be hard on her hand, and did they in fact come up?
Yeah, well, we kind of ignored her to begin with and started putting lots of slot switches in, but we quickly realised that we needed to leave quite a lot of blocks out, just save them for the meet.
And how do you feel it's going so far, Milko?
It's going pretty well. A lot better than I expected, considering that, you know, it's only a week ago that she had the cast off. It's doing really well. Very happy.
And this is your first time at Wind Games, I believe. Is it first time also at Windor? What do you think of the facility?
No, I've been to Windor before. It's a great facility. It's the first time I've competed here, so I've only ever competed at Bodyflight before, and it's a really, really good venue. I love the glass tunnel. I love the fact you can sit and watch. It's a great venue.
So who have you been watching the most, other than, obviously, when you guys come out? Is there anyone team that you like to watch?
I've watched pretty much everybody. The VFS is looking really nice. Of course, four-way's mine, so I enjoy watching all the four-way. But with the timing, it's tending to be the VFS that I get to see, which is fantastic. I can't believe how quick they move.
And do you have a favourite team in the VFS?
No, there's three of them that are all very good. I can't choose between the three.
And do you have a favourite in the FS?
Of course. I try not to watch ourselves very often, but no, the top guys are all very good. It's great to see a battle between both Hayabusa and the French guys. It's really, really good, but equally it's good for us to have a competition with Thunder right now, which is good.
Great stuff. And speaking of the leaders, or nearly leaders, what do you think of the shake-up in round one? For those watching, in case you didn't know, then I believe that Wemby Leal won the round with 33, and Hayabusa got 32. How does that feel, Dennis?
Well, we're actually happy that the scores are like this, because we wanted to beat Airspeed here, but unfortunately they couldn't come. And so it's very cool to now have another team that we can battle with and just try to push ourselves, you know.
And are they doing that? They're putting a little pressure on you?
Well, of course, score-wise they do, but let's just see how over 5 rounds today how we stand. You know?
And how did the rest of the meet go for you? Because we haven't really seen any scores other than round one.
No, we didn't see any scores right now, and for us it's a little bit difficult to get ourselves really pushed into the game, but we're getting there. Yeah, definitely.
So are you saying it's difficult to get pushed into the game because you can't see any scores?
Yeah, we actually just saw round one now, so now we know that we were behind in the first round. So now it actually just pushes up, but we already did 5 rounds, you know.
Bit late to catch up then.
It's a little late, yeah.
And what do you think of the draw? How are we looking? Are we looking for a fast meet, high averages, or average meet?
I think it's a very technical draw, because even you have all the blocks inside it, you also have difficult transitions. So it's kind of a challenge for each team to find their transition to make it happen. You know, and that's a different draw.
That was kind of an interesting round with the close of the 21, and a lot of people taking the short move with the centers out to the 14. So did you have a discussion about that, or was it just the way to go?
I think it's for many teams. You know, those transitions don't come up that very often, and then you just have to decide. Okay, is it gonna work? Is it not gonna work? Am I going to take the long turn, like the original transitions that we do? And I think everybody just decided for themselves. It's just a tricky transition.
And now that, I mean, you guys have been together 10 years or something like that, maybe not with exactly the same lineup, but is it always very clear, your puzzling of a dive when you look at it, or do you have discussions about, shall we do it this way or that way?
I think it's most of the time it's pretty clear. Sometimes we still have to decide, but because we have so many repetitions in training that it comes very often to say, okay, this we did before, it doesn't work at all. So then we take the more obvious, the obvious way.
And so you haven't got Gary here. So are you missing Gary, your coach?
Gary is always a good addition to competitions, you know, because he gives the right info at the right time, you know, we go in with the right mindset. And yeah, I must say we miss him a little bit. I hope he comes back. We'll pay him a flight.
And so when Gary coaches you, he's never actually flown at the speeds that you're flying at, but he still works out for you as a coach. What does he bring to the table?
Like I said, it brings the right mindset, and he knows to say the right things at the right moment. He maybe didn't make the averages that we are making right now, But yeah, it's another way of coaching. I feel, you know, he doesn't have to say like, hey, to turn left you need to use this knee or whatever. You know, it's more of like, how do we work together and how do we make things happen together? You know.
And what's your plan now until the World Meet in Chicago?
Now we're just gonna work hard to the World Meet because airspeed did their change, but it doesn't change anything for us. We just have the same mindset. Gary is still pushing us forward, and we're just gonna work until the World Meet to just outscore ourselves. I think airspeed is gonna bring a strong lineup to the table anyway, but we're just gonna work on ourselves towards the World Meet.
So you saw airspeed recently in the Clash of Champions in Dubai and also at the World Air Games, where you guys came out on top. Are you going to see them again or until the World Meet, or is that going to be your next rendezvous?
I recently saw the NSL talk that they did with Kurt Gable, and they're still scheduling. So they canceled this one. So I hope to see them somewhere else. Maybe in Europe. I'm kind of hoping for the Bedford Challenge that they decide to show up there and have a competition with them there. But if they decide not to come, then probably Chicago will be the one we're going to see them.
And how hard is it to keep pushing yourselves to a new average if you're in a competition? I know you guys, you want to win, and airspeed are there. That's going to lift you to new heights. But when you don't have people like that to push you, how hard is it to keep going on your own to still push your average?
It's not easy, but most of the time it's Gary also to drive us that way, you know, like guys, get into the moment, focus. And even though that Gary is not here, he's still in contact with us, so he's still helping us forward.
And what do you think of the meet so far, the performance of the scratch teams? We've got two scratch teams from France that are doing really amazing stuff, and obviously Wemby Lille. What do you think?
It's super exciting to watch. You know, they also go with a different mindset than what we do. They come here for fun, and they just go full on, nothing to lose. Let's see where we end, and they're just even though the jump goes bad, they go out of the tunnel with smiles. You know, and it's a kind of the different mindset than what we have. You know, we look at it for the long run to Chicago, and but yeah, it's very cool to watch.
Excellent, thank you. Well, I'll turn to Barak now because they're getting a little bit washed out in the cold here. How are you enjoying the competition so far?
Yeah, very much. It's a learning experience for us. We just come here to learn and compete and get experience. That's what we do. Yeah.
And tell me about your team, Maria. How long have you been together?
Well, we've been together for a couple of years now, and we're training as much as we can, and well, we're hoping to do better every time.
And you've competed at the Win Games before, I think?
Yes, we were here last year, same team, and well, we did better than we thought, so we were happy.
And are you aiming for anything particular this meet? What's your goals? Do you want to beat what you did last year or beat Hayabusa? What are you aiming for?
Yeah, we're going to try to beat the guys, you know, we're trying pretty hard. I think we're not that far behind them, you know, maybe 200 points at the end or something. No, that for us, it's just a learning experience, and we want to get experience competing. And just by watching these guys, we'll learn a lot, and for us, that's very important. Yeah.
And how fun is it to get this opportunity to compete against national teams that normally you'd have to go to a world meet? Is that special for you?
Very, very special. It's like a treat for us just to see like the best teams here all together. It's very good learning experience for us.
You have a favorite team?
I like them all. I just watch, and it's like I could watch for hours and try to learn just a little turn, and then I try it and it doesn't work that well, but it's just nice to watch it.
Okay, John, what are we going to see in the second half of the meet? What's lined up for the second half of the draw?
Well, I guess there's still got lots of blocks coming up again. I mean, for me, I felt like today there was a lot of rounds where you could kind of go for it a little bit. We haven't really studied it in great detail, but certainly from memory, there's a couple of 3 blockers So yeah, a little bit different to today, but we'll just keep going.
And now the 4-way is over. Are you going to stay around and watch the competition in the afternoon, or?
For sure. Yesterday I was watching one of the freestyle guys. Absolutely amazing. I'm looking forward to this afternoon watching the freestyle. I've never seen any flying like it. It's fantastic.
Okay, well, thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate your time here, and best of luck for the rest of the meet.
Thank you, Leslie.
Teams, and thank you, Leslie. Thank you, teams, and thank you, Leslie. We're going to have a look at some video now, and then we're going to be going over to Paloma. And we've got the dynamic starting around 3 p.m. They're having their briefing right now as we speak. That's it for the Formation Skydiving 4-way right now. Here's some video for you.
Aquí les aviso, perdón. Vale. Pues aquí estamos de nuevo en la planta donde está el túnel. Estamos ahora mismo con Sergi, que es la persona encargada de todo el live que estáis viendo desde casa. Sergi, vamos, tenemos un ritmo, una vorágine. ¿Cómo lo estamos llevando?
Hombre, muy bien. Es un deporte muy dinámico y ya que metemos nosotros encargados de que llegue a todos vosotros a través de Internet, vamos a tope. Estamos tomando Red Bull uno tras otro. Pero bueno, estamos contentos porque todo está saliendo bien, está saliendo sobre lo esperado, los equipos lo están haciendo muy bien, está siendo todo muy dinámico, muy entretenido y espero que lo estéis pasando bien desde casa.
Bueno, yo por lo que he oído y he visto que hay movimiento en redes sociales, la gente nos está siguiendo y están pudiendo disfrutar de la competición como lo estamos haciendo aquí. Tanto las personas que se han acercado de los alrededores como meros visitantes no tienen por qué ser voladores. Os animamos a cualquiera que estéis por aquí a venir a poder ver la competición. Es bastante emocionante ver a la gente volar.
Desde luego, además hemos empezado ya muy fuertes con unas rondas de FS y BFS muy interesantes, pero ahora también viene mucha caña, tenemos Dynamic y un poquito más de BFS y FS, y mañana también a tope con las semis y las finales, así que os invitamos a todos a verlo en directo porque es un espectáculo de verdad y estamos muy contentos de que todo va saliendo muy bien.
Pues muchísimas gracias, Sergi.
Gracias a vosotros, aquí estamos para lo que queráis. Gracias.
Bueno, vamos a seguir viendo a ver qué nos encontramos por aquí. Liz. Bueno, aquí tenemos a Liz. Liz es una de las juezas de freestyle de esta nueva disciplina que en esta competición por primera vez se va a hacer con música. Cuéntanos un poquito cómo ha funcionado esto.
Te platico, ¿dónde empiezo? Ya lo sé. Bueno, Windor es un túnel con una mentalidad muy abierta, les gusta hacer algo nuevo y esta va a ser la primera vez para nuestro deporte en incluir la música